Well, in the beginning, I was underpricing myself, but I would say with the help of your course, actually, like realizing, oh, I can make my prices higher and people are going to pay for them. I slowly have started to increase my pricing. So I think I have it at $2,400 right now, which is pretty good because that first client that I told you about, not only I did her website, I did her logo, I did all her branding, and I only charged her like $500. So like looking back, I'm like, oh, I could have, charged her so much more. Again, since I'm super niche, a lot of it has been word of mouth. I'm already in this community of Enneagram lovers, so it was almost like just letting people know that I was doing this. A lot of them have been friends that I've met through, but now it's starting to snowball into other people within the community. So
Stacy, do tell me, what were you doing before you became a website designer? What kind of brought the idea to your mind?
Well, before getting into my business, I was working in a nonprofit, working on like the back end, helping them with their social media, and they actually needed a new website. So at the time, I created their website from scratch on Squarespace. This was back before Squarespace rolled out 7.1. So this was all on the old platform. So it was kind of a nightmare, to be honest with you. But yeah, I kind of got like the itch for it there, designing. And then COVID happened. And so I really, during that time, got more into graphic design, taking courses, because there's just something about design that I love. So I ended up leaving that job in 2022 to start my own thing. I thought I was going to be, my goal was to be a coach, an Enneagram coach, which we'll probably get more into because I love the Enneagram. And so I decided to pursue that full time. My husband was super supportive, and I was able to quit that job and kind of branch off on my own. So, and it's kind of all spiraled from there.
That's good. Okay, we'll definitely talk about the Enneagram because one, I know people love it, and two, this is a major piece of your business that exists now.
Yes.
Okay, so you went off to go do the Enneagram coaching, and then now what you do is very specific and very niche, and so you build websites for Enneagram related businesses. Talk to me about the potential fear of niching into that, because I could just imagine everyone's like big fear about niching is people are very resistant, whereas you went hard into a niche. So tell me about like what kind of businesses exist in this specific niche and how did you feel about niching into something like that?
Yeah. So a little bit of a backstory, because I love the Enneagram so much, I signed up for a professional certification track that I was taking. And I was, interacting with other Enneagram lovers and just felt like I really found a community that I belonged in. It was great. So during that whole certification process, like I said, I thought I was going to be an Enneagram coach and take that and help, other people find their types and all that fun stuff. And during that process, I just realized coaching wasn't for me. But what I really loved doing was talking to other Enneagram business owners and other people that were trying to start their business with an Enneagram focus. And I have a lot of background. So I actually graduated with a promotional communication degree. So I have some marketing background already. And then just going into the online space, my knowledge has further grown as I try to build my own business. And I found I loved helping other people, specifically in the Enneagram realm, with that side of the business. So I started talking to other people, and what I found was, I loved doing this. So I pivoted from being an Enneagram coach, which wasn't fulfilling to me, to starting to call myself a marketing consultant for Enneagram professionals. And then, it kind of just snowballed from there. And one thing that I found, anytime I said I was a marketing consultant, even in like my everyday life, when people would ask me what I do, and I would say I'm, a marketing and business consultant, the first thing people would bring up was, oh, I need a website, or do you do websites? Or like, so it was almost like organic, like, that's just something I found everybody needed help with. So that's how I fell into this.
Yeah. I love that you said that because I have personally found the same thing. I know so many other students have found the same thing, is that when they mention something about like marketing or website design, so many people come out of the woodwork and are like, oh, I need that thing. Which I think speaks a lot to people's fear of like, oh, is the industry oversaturated? It's like, well, I mean, like, there's your personal experience of like, no, I keep talking to people and that's the one thing which they keep saying that they need. And it's very clear to them that it's needed.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah, good. Okay. So you've realized from these conversations that everyone seems to need a website. And then do you just immediately start offering it? You had built one before for this nonprofit that you first worked for. Had you built any since then? Walk me through what happened next.
I built one for my husband, actually. He had a side business going. So I built him one on Squarespace with just like a basic template. And by that point, 7.1 had come around. So it was a little easier to figure out. But I don't know. There was still something that I was struggling with I'm like, I don't know if this is really what I want to do. And then I helped a friend of mine within the Enneagram community get her website up and running. And I don't know, I hated what I made for her. I'm like, this is just, I don't know. For some reason, something was blocking me from really taking over. And then I got a client who found me. And of course, she needed help with her website. And it happened to be a Squarespace website. So I was going to help her redesign it. And it was that client that really, I ended up falling in love with the look of her website. Like I actually took the time, so she was paying me. So there was a little bit more like, I got to do this. I got to like perform for her, as opposed to my husband and my friend who I was just doing it pro bono. I don't know. From there, it was, I was like, well, yeah, maybe I can do this. And ironically, actually, right around that time, I was like, I keep getting these little things telling me that this is the direction I need to go in. And then I got an email from somebody else I follow who mentioned you were doing a workshop at the time last April. Like, do you want to be a web designer? Join this workshop. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like, this is like the
God is speaking to me.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more clear.
Right. Well, and it was too that you were Squarespace specific because I had looked around and, there was like WordPress and I've dealt with WordPress, not a fan. So the fact that you were doing Squarespace, I'm like, okay, this is like serendipitous here.
That's so funny. Okay, good. Okay, so you come to the workshop and then you decided to join me inside of the course. Tell me, why did you feel like you needed a course, or what were you hoping to get out of a course, if that makes sense?
Going through the workshop that you had, like, I forget how many days, like 5 days or whatever, but you had an assignment after each day. And I just had learned, I was already like, oh my God, this is so helpful. Just these simple, tasks that you're setting for us. Like I was literally waiting until the day your course went live to buy it because I was all in. I was like, okay, so there is a way to do this. There is. And I think too, it helped knowing that it could be like a process. So like the client I had been working with, I didn't have a set timeline. I was just kind of doing it like, it'll be done when it's done type of thing. Like, I didn't charge a lot. And I know now, like, I should have, put my should have been worth more. So yeah, it was just, like I said, it was almost like serendipity. Like this is the perfect time. And I jumped right in. I was like, yep, I want it now. Like I couldn't wait for you to open the doors. I'm like, I want to do it now.
Some people, we've actually gotten messages when we do that like multi-day event, and people are like on the first day, like, just give me the link.
I was one of them, probably.
Yeah. I love that. You know what you want. That's good.
Yes.
And then when you dove into the course, what would you say was the most helpful aspect? Like, what were you struggling with before that you felt like was explained or helped through the course?
So, well, I signed up for the business and the design. So it was nice to have a little bit more insight into the design aspect of Squarespace and all the, nooks and crannies of it, if you will. But the business course was what really, I was like, oh, okay. Because like I said, at that point, I was marketing myself as a marketing consultant, business coach. Whereas I felt like if I narrowed it down to website designer and stuck to that specific title, marketed it that way to Enneagram business owners, like things would take off from there, and they did. And I would say too, just from your course, just having that, the process of 2-week website, which is what I do with clients now, and just having that all laid out and, and the marketing, how to find clients and stuff like that was also super helpful.
Good. That's amazing. Okay, tell me about, so let's talk about finding those clients. So you'd done those projects for like friends, your husband, everything. Then you did that other one. Then you joined the course. Tell me about like the clients that you found after the course. How did you find them or they find you? Talk me through the first like 1-2 clients.
Again, since I'm super niche, I still attend classes from the professional certification I took. They have like a community of students, and there was another one. This woman got on and was like, she needed some kind of help with like content, and I was like, oh, I can help you. I can help you. So I found her through that, and then I would say a lot of it has been word of mouth. Like I said, I'm already in this community of Enneagram lovers, so it was almost like just letting people know that I was doing this. And again, it was just something it felt like it was needed, like whether people were starting out, just starting their business and needed a website done, or someone who had already been established, but they needed a redesign, so it just kind of, just that community aspect of it.
So you are not the first past student who I've met who is super, super niche in their business and basically just gets all their clients from that like hardcore niche. So this is, I think when you go so specific, which you have, that's what ends up happening. So, okay. So again, just in case people didn't fully catch that. So you took a certification related to the Enneagram. Then there's a community and like events and stuff that go along with it. Then you just started saying, oh, I'm a website designer for Enneagram-based entrepreneurs. And then you just got a client. That's pretty much how it's happened.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's been word of mouth since then. So the most recent client I worked with, she found out about me from another client I had just worked with who's also a friend. So yeah, a lot of them have been friends through that I've met through, but now it's starting to snowball into, other people within the community.
That's really exciting. I love that. Okay, now another common thing which people ask or they want to know is like, oh, okay, if I join the course, like, how many clients does it take to make back my investment? Will I be able to make it back with client projects? Can you say, has that happened for you? How many projects do you think it took you to make back what you spent?
Well, in the beginning, I was underpricing myself. But I would say with the help of your course, actually, like realizing, oh, I can, make my prices higher and people are going to pay for them. I slowly have started to increase my pricing to a point right now where I think I'm good. But I would say it took a couple projects. So I was on your payment plan, which was super nice to have. But I was able to pay it off. I emailed your team and I was like, hey, I made my money back. Can I pay that off? And that was in, I would say 6 months. Within 6 months that happened.
That's really good.
So, yeah. So
I love when that happens, when we get those emails.
It was nice
for multiple reasons. Like, it's great for you. It's great for us. We're like, everyone's happy. That's awesome. Okay, good. And then tell me about, so I think that's something else which people might think is, okay, if I go super niche, like something like this, like what kind of businesses exist in the Enneagram space? What is a typical client? Who is that for you?
Enneagram coaches have been my biggest, so service providers, I guess they haven't all been coaches. Some of them work with business professionals and just use the Enneagram as part of that. And therapists too. There are a lot of therapists who have started using the Enneagram in their services. So I would say those are the two big ones. But besides that, I will take on other projects in the meantime. Like I did a website for an author last year, which was really fun. So I market myself as an Enneagram, website designer, but I'll still, will help other people. So funny thing is, like one of my clients who is an Enneagram coach, he's actually a marriage coach, which is fun. That one was a fun website for me to do. But his wife is a therapist and she wanted her own website. So I'm like, hey, I'll do it for you. So, kind of just, again, it's And the author that I had was a referral from somebody in the Enneagram community. So
Mm.
it's still like all within the
Yep.
family, if you will.
And I think that's also good for people to know because it is true is like even when you niche into something very specific, you will still have, as you had there, it's like, okay, I had one client in my specific niche, and then they just talked to a friend who's doing something different. But even regardless, it's like, even if your website is very tailored to one thing, people will still get in touch because like, oh, my friend had a good experience. And like, I mean, if she could build a website for them, she could build a website for me. So
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Can you talk about, do you typically set goals or financial goals in the business, or you just kind of whatever happens, happens? What's your kind of like method for doing things?
I'm right now at the whatever happens, happens stage. I hope to grow it. Definitely one of my long-term goals is to make 100,000 a year. I mean, that hasn't really happened yet, but I feel like I'm on my way there. Like if I keep continuing on this path, that will definitely happen. But no, I'm not. I wish I was more of a goal setter, but I'm not. I'm a type 9. I don't know if you know the Enneagram, but I'm a type 9, so it's a little hard for me to I'm not a 3. I wish I was sometimes, but
I don't know nearly as much about the Enneagram as I'm sure you
okay.
do. Maybe someone watching this would be like, oh yeah, type 9, me too.
Oh. You know what your type is, or are you familiar?
I did. I took the test and I've forgotten now.
Oh, okay.
I want to say like an 8, maybe.
No, you're not an 8.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
You're not an 8.
I need to go take the test again after this, then I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
Or
I took it like 2 years ago, I think. And
Yeah.
then I looked at it quite a bit when I first took it, and I haven't looked at it so much since. So
It depends too on the test you take. They're not all
yeah, I've heard
accurate.
that, yeah.
So yeah. So I do typing interviews too. So if you are interested in the future, because I
Yeah.
always, when I watch courses with people now, I'm like, I wonder what type they are. So
That's hilarious. My sister is very into human design, and she does the same thing with any person. She's like, oh, I wonder what their human design is.
oh, I've heard of human design actually. I
Yeah.
have read a book. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me walk me through like your typical day now that you work for yourself, you're a website designer. What does life look like? How is that different from previously when you were working at the nonprofit, for example?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm working for myself. So I'm, home. It's nice though, because I can make my own schedule. So I have 2 kids. So, if appointments come up or, got to pick them up from school or whatever, I can kind of drop what I'm doing and go, be with the family. So that's been nice, that I'm my own boss. That I don't have to rely on, asking permission to do that. But a typical day, so I get my son on the bus in the morning and then I do a workout or I'll take a walk, kind of just almost ground myself at the beginning of the day, and then just slowly get into like do my emails and then get into whatever project work. I have it laid out now where, especially with the 2-week design, that first week is a little more intensive and the second week is a little more laid back, so I can do other things while, like working on my own content or, stuff like that. So, but yeah, mostly I'll, focus in on, it's so much easier for me to work on other people's projects, my own stuff. So
Typical. That makes sense. Amazing. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the best perks of working for yourself.
Yes.
Exactly as you mentioned. And I feel like and it seems kind of impossible or crazy, like even to your old self who's working at the nonprofit, thinking about like, oh, I wake up when I want, and then I can do a workout, and then I can actually get around to like, or also like taking your son off school, and just like the ability to have like the time and space, I think is such a beautiful, it's one of the things that I appreciate the most personally, especially the waking up whenever. I feel like that aspect.
Yeah. Well, I can't do that. I'm a mom, so I still have to wake up.
Yeah, I know. Everyone says to me, they're like, just wait until you have kids, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Although I'm usually the first one up. My kids are older now, so they like to sleep in. So it's but I still tend to wake up early.
That's awesome. Love that. And then can you tell me, so as you mentioned, in the first week, it's obviously more full on in terms of your like web design work time schedule. And week 2 is a bit easier. Can you say like, has there been a difference? You haven't been at it a super long time. You've started more recently. But has there been a difference between like how long it would take you to do a project at the very beginning versus now, like a good few months in?
Oh, yes. Even from, I mean, not even thinking about, working on my husband's or my friend's website, which my friend, by the way, that I did pro bono, I redid her website after I had learned this stuff in your course, and it looks much better now. Like it's funny. I use hers as an example of before and after, but
Ooh.
but I don't tell people that. But anyway, just like having that knowledge, and I feel like every project I work on, I learn something new. So it's, and I love to learn. Like I'm a big, nerd when it comes to learning. I love courses. That's a whole other side tangent. But yeah, I still learn as I go along, but I'm just faster, at what I do. To the point where I almost feel like I could probably get away with 1 week designs, but I'm not there yet. Maybe in the future, but I mean, and I have dabbled in VIP days also. So for like redesigns, I'll make that choice for the person, and I'm okay with that. We did it more half day, so that was
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was a little easier for me because I feel like when I'm in the design process, sometimes I'm too into it and I have to step back. You know what I mean? So it was good to have that couple days to.
I like that. I really like that method. And it's good that you observe that about yourself to realize that's what works for you.
I'm a perfectionist too. Not always the greatest degree. Like I have to step back and okay.
Have you ever tracked the amount of time that it took you to do a website design project? Again, because people are always asking me that question, and I'm like, well, it depends. But like, do you know on average how many hours it would take you over, let's say, the 2 week period or a 1 week period if you decide to like condense it down to that? How many hours it would roughly take you to build a website?
That's a good question. I haven't actually tracked it. Like I've tracked other projects I've worked on because I was taking retainer clients for a while too. It's definitely less than 40. It's not anywhere near that. Maybe even half that, maybe 20. Like I said, the first week is, and I feel like for me, it is good for me to like sit down. I'm someone who has to have full focus, so I can't just jump in and out of something.
Same.
So I like to have, maybe you are a 9. So maybe I have to have I set aside a specific. I'll usually take like Tuesdays or, Thursdays or something. And that's what I'm doing the whole day. I'm just, working on the website. Nobody bother me just to like get it out. So yeah, with that, I would say close to 20, but that's before editing and all that. I would say like the initial design, I would say 20 probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Yeah, I need to like ask more people that question because I need to figure out like an average or also like time myself on some projects or something.
Oh, I'm sure you're super fast though at this point.
I'm very fast, though our website now, like say I just did the redesign of our website, there's just like 100 pages, so it just
Oh my gosh.
takes a while.
Yeah.
That's not like your average project,
Right. Yeah.
And we did that over the course of a couple months, to be honest. It's like I started in September and we're just polishing up the last pages like now. So it's just like, when we have time, we go do another page basically.
So side tangent, I know I've noticed that you've updated. How did you do that? Because you didn't take your site down, did you?
No.
During the time?
I'm very imperfect. I'm not a perfectionist, I don't think. So I duplicated the page. So say I wanted to redesign the homepage or something, duplicated the page, built it in the not linked section, dragged it up, switched it. I just did that. So like I did redo the colors, like the color palette that gets applied to the whole website, redid that, added the new logo, and then just started doing page by page and just kind of like dragged them or linked them in the right place in the footer and everything when they were ready. And so, there was literally like our resources freebies page. We just, even though the entire rest of the website was done, I actually wanted to record a YouTube video to go along with me redesigning that page. And so it just got pushed until later. So I just redid that like last week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't go down for any amount of time. Like the website was still up the entire time, even as we were working on it, which worked out fine.
That's actually validating because a couple times that I've redesigned and they already have Squarespace and everything, that's kind of what I did. Like, they already had it and they didn't want to bring it down. So I just kind of worked on it. Yeah,
totally.
Okay.
Good. Another one which people always want to know is like, are your clients typically happy with what you can do inside of Squarespace? I feel like that's a common fear, and then people feel like, I have to go on WordPress because whatever. What have you found with your clients?
Well, for my clients specifically, I don't think WordPress is really something they need anyway. Like they're very, basically it's an informational website about who they are, what their services are. So it's not I haven't run into anything intricate yet. Maybe I will in the future. So I always tell people Squarespace is the way to go. It's super user friendly. Like even after I'm done with it, it's, I'll send them, tutorial videos on how to use it, but usually from there they can just do it themselves. So it's not hard for them. But yeah, I always recommend Squarespace. Just, I think it's the easiest.
Okay. And then final thing, tell me, so you mentioned you have a few different offerings. There was retainer package, VIP day, and then full website, 2-week website project, which you might condense down to 1 week at some point. Tell me about like the price points on those different offerings that you have.
Well, I also offer branding services too. So if they add that on, which is actually pretty typical of my clients, they need a logo and all that. So I always add that on as like an extra week. So it's like a 3-week project. But so do you want me to tell you like my actual prices?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's on your website, right? But I'm curious here, yeah.
It is. I just updated it because, I was getting like, maybe they're too high. But anyway, so I have the option of, I think my VIP day is $1,000 for the day, which I'm hoping, again, to increase as I do more of those. And right now I have the 2-week web design is at $2,100. And then they can buy the branding on its own, which I have it at $600. So if they package the two together, they get a little bit of a discount for branding and web design. So I think I have it at $2,400 right now. So which is pretty good because that first client that I told you about, not only I did her website, I think I created other things for her. I did her logo, I did all her branding, and I only charged her like $500. So like looking back, I'm like, I could have, charged her so much more for what I gave her. But I also feel more confident in the work I've done. And not only that, but the clients I've worked with, they love that I know the Enneagram. That is like my biggest sell to them because they don't have to explain what the Enneagram is to somebody new. And, I already have the language and, we can talk about it even when we're meeting on video and just chat about, so so even that adds to my value, I feel like. So, just realizing all that kind of stuff that, so, a year ago, Stacy, who charged $500 is no more. I'm much, more confident in my abilities and what I can do. So
I'm so excited to see where you take it in future. I feel like it's so fun for me to get to talk to students who are both like more in the beginning phases, more recently took the course, and then also the ones who are like 5 years in. And I'm excited we should do like another like catch up in like 4 years. Then we can see like where Stacy's 5-year business is at.
Yeah, because actually my ultimate goal is to be a hub for Enneagram business people to come to. So, that means I have to evolve my website in the process, which I told you I hate doing my own website, but I'll do it for other people all day long. So
that makes sense. That's good. Okay, final one. Can you say, for anyone who is on the fence about taking the course, they're not sure if it's worth it for them, you've been through it, what's your opinion? What's your experience?
Do it. Especially if you, like me, are getting signed. Like just, if you're finding yourself like finding little signs happening or coming at, like, for me, again, it was like someone at church was asking me, he's like, oh, I need a website. And I was like, it was just little things like that. If those things are adding up and then this opportunity comes along, you should take it. Just go all in. Again, if it's, a cost issue, which was, a little bit of a, but to me it was worth it, especially with the payment plan and being able to pay it off. Like, getting a return on that investment within 6 months is totally worth it. And I'm so much happier now than I was a year ago, before taking it. So I would say just do it. Jump in and do it.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Stacy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wasn't that inspiring? Hearing real success stories like this reminds us that building the business of your dreams is absolutely possible, and it starts with finding the right clients. Now, the best client finding method isn't about chasing the latest trend or jumping on every shiny object. It's about truly discovering a client finding strategy that feels natural, works for you, and helps you connect with the clients that you actually want to work with. So, if you want to figure this out for yourself, you can take my quiz, Which Client Finding Method Matches Your Personality Type? And in it, you will uncover the perfect way to land your dream clients without the overwhelm or the endless trial and error. So click the link below or head to paigebrunton.com/quiz to take the quiz, and then you can start building your web designer dream business today. I can't wait to hear which marketing strategy result that you got.